Hello friends, so welcome to this demo lecture. So in this lecture we'll see how we can manage access to a SQL server via the role-based access control and by using the firewall settings how we can block and provide access. So let's go into the Azure portal and click onto the SQL servers which you have already created for the previous demo. So let me go to the SQL databases and okay, before we provide the role-based access, one thing we need to have a clarity that okay, whenever we need to perform the firewall settings or role-based access control, so this will always be doing it on a server level because from the server itself, the people will be or the user will be making connection to a particular database. So obviously, the firewall settings and the role-based access you will be managing at the server level rather than at the database level. So you'll not be able to find any kind of firewall settings and all those things from here. You can see there is no firewall settings. You don't have any IAM tab to manage the role-based access control. So if I'll go to a SQL server and click on IAM, here I'll be able to manage the role-based access control. But we'll come to the setting later on because first of all, we will see how or who can access basically this SQL server. Only then the role will work that okay, who will be having what kind of access. But from the firewall and virtual network settings, you'll be able to control who can access this particular SQL server. So like if you want to allow your services and resources to access these services, I'll click on, and with the help of this radio button, you can click on and off. And then let's say if I have a SQL client, I need to manage this particular SQL server. I can provide that particular, let's say my client, or I can mention the IP address, let's say 1 dot 2 dot that 16 whatever IP address I have, right? And then I can mention the end IP address if I have. So in this way I can mention the which all client IP address will be entering this. This will be able to manage this particular SQL server. So here I can do that. And the other thing is you can manage that okay, if there are any virtual networks which should be able to manage the SQL server or access the SQL server, I can add an existing virtual network which I already have, right? So I can add that particular virtual network which I have already created. So the subscription I have already used free trial. So this is the virtual network which is already created. So in this way, I can provide that as well. So these are the firewall settings which I can configure for a SQL server. And then the other thing which we need to discuss is providing the role-based access that okay, on our contributor role, reader role. So all these things I'll be able to provide by clicking onto the access control, and here I can add a role assignment, and then select a role that okay, if I want to provide a full access that and will be able to manage and everything, so I can provide the owner role, and then contributor role which will be able to manage everything but will not be able to access any resources. Similarly, if I want the access to the should be able to manage the other SQL databases, so I can manage the SQL database contributor role, right? So in that case, user will not be able to access them. I can manage, SQL security manager role, server contributor role. So all these roles I can provide depending on the requirement I have. So with the help of this, I'll be able to provide the role-based access control, whatever the role user is having, a reader role, contributor role, or a security role. So with the help of which I'll be able to provide a certain level of access to that particular user. And admin level access we have already discussed in the previous lectures. So this is it, friends. In this lecture we discussed about the firewall settings and providing a role-based access onto a SQL server. So thank you for watching this lecture. Meet you in the next lecture. Thank you.